A while back, I had a really interesting personal narrative, a short 500 word personal narrative by a student to a prompt about childhood, childhood scene. And he wrote this really wonderful scene about fighting a bigger boy at school. I think we can all relate to seeing some sort of fights in public school, middle school, whatever. And he wrote this wonderful scene, and I've extracted here just a paragraph. It was funny in the story because the author is smaller than this older boy, but he is tougher, and he's quite crazy when he fights. And near the end of the story, I mean, he wins the fight, and his the older boy's friends actually start pulling them apart because he's just destroying this older boy. And even the boy's own friends think, what happened to you? It's like he turned into the Hulk, the comic book character, the Hulk. But I just wanted to show this scene because the rest of the story is so immediate. It's so in the moment. It's great detail, action, and so on. But he writes here, I just want to mention something at the end of this paragraph. He writes, Billy gets to his feet looking cocky. I'm smaller and younger, so I should go down easy. I see the overconfidence in his watery eyes. Putting his chubby hands up like a boxer, the bigger boy swings at me. For some reason, it seems important to remember how this happened. That line strikes me as out of place. And I think what's happening here is he is commenting from the perspective of today. Now, this was written a number of years ago, but he would have been about 21, 22 years old when he wrote this scene. And here he kind of knocks me out of that moment, right? He says, for some reason, it seemed important to remember how this happened. We need to avoid this kind of commentary, particularly from the perspective of the author today, as they're going through the act of writing. And you don't really want to talk about the act of writing when you're writing about something that happened 20 years ago. For some reason, it seems important to remember how this happened. To me, this is a throwaway line. It's a line that takes me out of the moment. It's an authorly line, drawing attention to the author as the creator of the text. But it doesn't really serve any purpose. So I would just delete that. It really has no purpose in this piece, and just focus on the wonderful fight scene and what's to come.